Hi boys and girls, and just in time for Thanksgiving, these cute little pilgrims. This video is the little pilgrim girl, and the second video that I'm going to put out will be the little pilgrim boy. So to do this lesson, let's just grab a pencil for it. I'm going to go ahead and use a Sharpie so you guys can see it, but I would grab a pencil. And we're going to start basically with a 3/4 of a circle or 3/4 of an oval for her face. This is for the little pilgrim girl. Make sure that you put it up near the top of the page, but you leave a little bit of room up here for her coif. That's her hat. And then I'm just not closing it off because that's where the hat's going to go. So it's kind of a U shape. If you make her cheeks a little chubbier or her chin a little narrower, she'll just look different. Next, what you want to do is just a slightly curved, this is the top of the hat where her head goes into it. It's actually called a coif. And we're going to come over to the side here and angle out. And then over on the side over here and angled out. And you're trying to get these to look really close to symmetrical. That means this side looks very similar to that one. And you can see mine aren't perfect, but you want to be kind of close. And then you're going to just kind of curve around like this. It's kind of this wide hat that's white that comes over the top. It looks a little bit like a nurse's hat, an old-fashioned nurse's hat. And then right above here, about as wide as her head, you're going to see just a little bit of the top of her head. Notice how I make it about the same width as the top of the head. So that's the top of her head. This is the coif rim. It's called a coif. We call it a hat. In those times it was called a coif. And then we'll go ahead and put a little tie underneath. You could make your tie a little different than mine. I'm just going to start with a little knot. And then I'm going to curve it out, curve out, curve out, curve out. And then bring it around. And you can leave it solid like that, or you can open it up so it looks a little bit more like an actual string. Either way works. And then two little ties at the bottom, little rectangles. This is where it ties under her chin. They were considered modesty very, very important. And showing your hair wasn't a sign of modesty. So their hair was always tucked into hats, especially for the girls. So we just make a little tie coming on the left and a little tie coming on the right. That goes into the bow here. And so because she can't show a lot of hair, we're just going to show just a little bit of her bangs coming underneath the hat like that. Okay, so shoulders. Your actual shoulder width is about double what your head is, but because this is kind of more animated, you could make it a little narrower if you wanted. So what that means is if you drew a line right here in the middle, this plus this would be 2 widths of her head. So just try not to make them too skinny. I'm going to go ahead and put the top of her apron on, curving in, and then straight across, or a little bit curved, okay? And then this is where she's going to go under her armpit for the front of the apron, so we just kind of curve it around and curve it around on the other side. Now when you're done, you want to look at these and see that they look pretty symmetrical to you. One's not lower or higher. The tendency when you draw something like this is to make the waist way too skinny. So just angle it in slightly, just a little bit in, okay? And then this would be 2 curves, and the reason we curve it is so it looks like it's going around her waist. So 2 curves, and this is the band on the apron around her waist. So it would tie in the back. Then we're just going to go ahead and put her skirt on. So angle out and angle out. Don't make it too full. Remember, they dressed very simply. And then you want to leave a little bit of room for the feet, so you just make a nice curve here so that the skirt looks rounded, not straight across. Important, then it looks more round. And then we'll just put her little tips of her toes here, coming out from underneath her dress. Just the U shapes. And then inside 2 other little U shapes. Okay, so she's coming really nicely. Let's go ahead. This is more her skirt. This is the top of the apron. So we're going to go ahead and put the bottom of the apron on. And it would be basically the same shape but smaller. So angle down, and then curve on the bottom. So this is the bottom apron part. And if you like this idea, you could put a little pocket on her apron like that. Okay. Now, for her arms, rather than deal with hands, because they're pretty tough to draw, we're just going to go ahead and bring them down. Now, it's real important that her hands go behind her hips. So we're going to angle out here so we know where we're going. And we're going to angle out here. And then you don't want to make her arms too wide. So we'll make her arms a little bit skinny. Okay, so now you're like, okay, so how do I get back up there? Well, all you need to do is come back up this way and this way. And then we're just going to bring her arm into her armpit and into her armpit. And there's her arms kind of going behind. You should get a little bit of a little triangle or diamond shape there. And so there's our girl. I'm going to design a little face, but you could design any face you wanted. But I'm just going to go ahead and put one in the way that I would do it. So it's kind of a half circle and a half circle. And then I'm going to kind of curve it so it looks like she has little cheeks here. And then the pupil, you would want to do that with a black crayon or with ink. I would never do it with watercolor. And then a second curve, and you could color her eyes a color like brown or blue, whatever you thought. And then just a little angled nose like that. And I'm going to give her a cute little smile. Now you can either curve down or curve up. If you curve up, it looks more like she has cheeks. If you curve down, she looks more like she's grinning. Okay, so it's kind of up to you. And there she is. And the rest of it is just coloring. You could add more things to it, maybe a turkey. But for this lesson, that's it for today. And I hope you enjoyed it and makes a cute little picture. If you want to do it a duo, this is just an 8.5 by 11, you know, like a regular off your computer printer paper. Okay, see you soon.